Go left. Okay, God.
Fellas, this has been so much fun, but we really need to start the show.
Okay, yeah, let's just finish the level.
5 more minutes. No, left.
Guys, we really need to start the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to count to 3. 3. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I am Larry Brantley. That is Julie Andrews.
Hello.
And that is Randy Macho Man Savage.
Hello.
And we are the Nerdherfers. We are 3 middle-aged guys who enjoy cigars, whiskey, and all the nerdy shit we loved when we were kids. Hey, if you're not currently a member of Nerdherfer Nation, it's so easy. All you got to do is go to nerdherfers.com. Brent's probably putting the super up even as we speak. And hit the subscribe button. That's going to clue you in whenever we've got a brand new podcast coming up. We're also on the YouTubes now, as like 47 of you know. And
it's like 52, thank you.
Is it really? That's so exciting. So
Chris finally subscribed.
So it took him long enough. He's only the producer of the show.
My daughter said that being on video was the cool thing to do.
Well, now we know.
Yeah.
It's youtube.com/@nerdherfers. You can subscribe to our YouTube's channel as well. We would love to be a part of your life, and we would love to have you be a part of ours. Well, that was cute. Anyway, basically, here's how the show works. I'm sorry, Micah. Did I get you a little...
I got a little misty.
Little misty?
I got a little verklempt.
Micah got verklempt. I heard it.
I'll
We all
give you a
heard
topic.
Yes.
The Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman. Discuss.
Already off the rails. We're not even 60 seconds in. I love it.
We haven't even had anything to drink yet.
It's going to be a great show, you guys. It's going to be a great show. And we always like to start the show with a little thing that we like to call Nerd News. It's last week's Nerd News today. As always, we are headed over to the anchor desk where our anchor person, Brent Williams, has got some naughty, nerdy stuff to talk about. Brent?
Nothing naughty.
Oh, man.
No new nurse over here.
You're not going to get a better teaser than that.
All right. Well, how familiar are you guys with AI?
Pretty familiar now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kicked my wife off of Meta, so, you know. That's not even a joke.
Several times. Well, okay, so there's this one company called Anthropic. They make a model called Claude, and I've used that.
We've talked about Claude on the show.
Yeah. Claude. So anyway, they just recently released version 3.7. So 3.5 was their main one. It was fast. It was awesome. I used it all the time. 3.7 now is a reasoning engine, right? Like it can reason.
Okay.
Which semantically, I would think that would make it 4.0, but 3.7 technically works. I don't understand why they do that.
And philosophically, it's still terrifying.
That's right. But anyway, so there's this.
Now it can choose to kill you.
Are you old men familiar with this thing called Twitch? Have you ever heard of that? The Twitches?
I have heard this.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's the Twitch thing. So my nephew is on Twitch. He games,
Story time.
Yeah, he games for like hours and hours, and people watch him play on Twitch, and he makes like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To play games and have people
Watch.
basically voyeur him.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Is he in his boxers when he's doing it?
You know, I didn't ask.
Okay, it's probably best that you don't.
No.
Or watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so there's this cool thing. There's a channel on there called Claude Plays Pokemon. And the 3.7 engine is playing Pokemon Red, and it is doing extremely well, actually. But when I went to watch it, it already had earned like 3 gem badges or something. But the only thing about it is, so on the left-hand side of the screen, it shows its reasoning, what's going on, why it's thinking and doing what it's doing. And on the right-hand side is the screen, and it is painstakingly slow. I mean, it's still cool to watch, but literally the guy will move, like one bit, and there's just paragraphs and paragraphs of text, discussing why he chose to move that direction and why and stuff. But the most interesting thing is watching them in battles. So he had this battle with a Pokemon, and it was a bug type Pokemon, and he had his lightning type Pokemon, which apparently I guess doesn't work. I never played Pokemon, so I couldn't tell you. But anyway, I'm watching him battle. And he's like, I'm going to try this attack. And he would hit it and it wouldn't do anything. And he'd go, well, that didn't work. I'm going to try something else. And then you'd see him scrolling through and reasoning stuff. And then he'd try the same attack again. Meanwhile, his hit points are just going boo, woo, woo, like this. And then finally he just says, I'll just pick another one. Picked a bird type. And apparently, one hit killed the bug, right? Apparently that was the right type. But the cool thing was, you saw him go, well, apparently, that's the right type of Pokemon to match against that type of Pokemon, right? So you see it reasoning out and why it's going to use stuff, and it's basically learning. So it's at one time really cool and another time extremely scary. So
yeah. Well, being a gamer, one of the things that I really liked to do was get into as much as I could. Well, when I was bonding with my 5-year-old nephew, he was really into Pokemon, so I wanted some sort of like an absolute connection.
Right.
So I went out to the store, bought myself a Game Boy, got myself Pokemon, and started playing it. And I was like, "This is actually kind of fun."
Yeah.
So, but it's if I understand, and we won't stay on this forever, but if I understand this right, it's reasoning, but it's taking Claude a long time to reason.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because it's
Not next time.
So right now, Claude's on the short bus.
Yeah,
is what
but
I'm getting at.
No. So it's reasoning because it's like it's learning the game, right?
Yeah.
But I think once it goes through it and it's done all that, then it has that knowledge and it can play a lot faster.
Yeah, and it decides.
So
that
they're
it
kind of
doesn't
just
wanna-
showing you how the LLMs learn, basically.
It's decided that it doesn't want to go
Terrifying.
immediately to nuclear warfare.
Absolutely,
It decides to try and
How
problem
about-
solve the game first before it decides to bomb the developer.
How about thermonuclear warfare?
Yes, that's where I was going with that.
Okay, let's move on.
Yes, please.
So apparently there's a live-action Dungeons and Dragons series in development with Sean Levy at the head.
Heard about it.
I did
Yeah,
not
and
hear
it's going to
about
be
this.
the Forgotten Realms, which is like the most famous, realm in D&D, right?
It's not a realm. It's just a series of stories.
Well, okay.
Actually, Brent.
It's true. I mean, if you want to talk about actual areas in Faerun, then we can talk about that.
Please enlighten us, Micah.
Nerd.
Well, actually, we just had character creation last night. I was able to actually trim down character creation to like 6.5 hours for character creation.
Holy goodness.
6.5.
That's dedication right there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That some people call it that.
But I got my whole story written. I actually, my daughter and I co-wrote it together. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, moving on.
I like that topic.
That was a good topic for me.
Thank you. That's what was in my head.
Oh.
Okay. No. Okay. So this is also really cool. So there's a place called the Sauce Shed, and they have partnered with Atari.
You almost
Immediately.
You almost
12
had
years
it.
old immediately.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They have partnered with Atari, and they have made Atari-themed barbecue and hot sauces. Yeah.
Okay.
And the boxes are like the, Atari 2600 game art and stuff. So there's one for they have 10 different ones. So I'm going to read those off to you because why not?
Because why not?
And their tagline is "Use it with joy, stick it on everything."
Oh.
I don't get it.
All right. So they have one called the Mystic Dragon Sauce from the game Adventure.
Stop.
You're just making this too easy, buddy.
Asteroids is Galactic Hot Barbecue Sauce. Berserk is Electric Circus.
Okay.
That sounds like that sounds like an acid you would drop.
Breakout is Brick Smash Barbecue Sauce. Crystal Castle's Enchanted Berry Barbecue Sauce.
Oh, that must be the meth.
Yeah, that's where I went. That's where I went.
Gravatar Zero G Sriracha Hot Sauce. Now, I would try that because Sriracha.
Sriracha, sure.
I love Sriracha. Haunted House is the Phantom Pepper Hot Sauce. Again, I would definitely try that.
Okay.
Pong is the Retro Classic Barbecue Sauce.
So
Boring.
it's basically just Heinz barbecue sauce.
just boring.
It's just that came in that plastic bottle.
Ketchup and brown sugar.
The first one is the only one that sounded really nice and dirty.
Super Breakout Jalapeno Hot Sauce.
Okay.
And Yar's Revenge, Yar's Inferno Hot Sauce.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I
If
would
you
try
ever
that
played
Phantom
Yars.
I want to try that Phantom Pepper one.
You don't want the dragon special sauce?
I've had that.
Have you? No judgment.
That is a podcast for another day, boys. Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's it for this episode of Nerd News. Thanks for letting me know there, buddy. Oh, well,
Well,
anyway.
I usually only have 3 stories, so apparently we're not mathing today. So
I have been off of serious pain medication for maybe 24 hours.
And I got a little bit more chatty.
story time.
Story time.
And now it's story time with Micah.
Hello,
Hey,
kids.
here's how the show works, kids. Every week, one of us is going to bring a cigar for the three of us to review. One of us is going to bring a bottle of whiskey for us to do the same, and we do both of those things while nerding out on a particular topic. Guess whose turn it was to bring cigars this week? This guy.
Oh,
I got something special for y'all. I've been holding out on this one.
is it an all the time thing?
It is. It could very well be an all-the-time thing.
Okay.
Yeah. This is not a...
Although he said he's been holding out on us. What the
Yeah.
heck?
So it's not an all the time thing.
Yeah.
well, no,
Could
it's
be.
when you can get them, you should smoke these a lot.
Okay.
Okay. As you no doubt know, I'm a huge fan of Roma Craft.
Yes.
Love Roma Craft. They have another line. I can't remember when it debuted, but it was called the Intemperance line.
Okay.
And this is one that they did called the Volstead, named in honor of the Volstead Act, which legalized prohibition. So this is their poke in the eye to all things conformity.
Okay.
It's a great. It's like a fat Robusto. When I tell you
Thank
the
you.
blend on this cigar from Roma
It looks
Craft,
kind of like me. If I were a cigar, this would be my body shape.
this would be your body shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be the Vitola.
I'm going to come out with something called incontinence.
It's going to be a really wet cigar.
Brent, pause the show. I got to go to the bathroom.
The Intemperance Volstead, 1920 Volstead from Roma Craft, is going to have an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a binder made of Mexican San Andres, and fillers from Nicaragua, and also the Dominican Republic.
Interesting.
And it is, as you can see, it's got very nice construction to it. It's a little veiny.
Hates me. This company always makes a band that I have to struggle with.
Yes.
Because
The
if you watch the
struggle is
show,
real.
you know I save the bands because I'm going to make a special cup.
All right. I'm going to go and cut. Hey, we did that in unison. That was kind of nice. All right. Little tappy tap.
I'll try the cold draw here.
Yes. That's kind of tasty just by itself.
Oh, yeah.
So you're definitely getting... So what I suspect from this is what I love about Roma Craft in general is it's going to be... by the way, I've never had this cigar. I've had a couple from the Intemperance line, but I've never had the Volstead. I have a feeling... One of the things I love about cigars is I love consistency. And so let's just light it up and see what we get.
Well, I mean, what did you get on that cold draw? Because I'm thinking like... I'm getting like a caramel taste.
Caramel, nutty.
Yeah. Both of those with a little bit of wood, almost like cedar.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
There you go.
I was almost going to lean towards something cocoa related, but
Yeah, it's been so long
not.
since we've had like a cedary type cigar. It's been a while.
Toasty.
I suspect that cedar is coming from the Dominican filler, because that's a big note for me on the Dominican cigars that I like.
All right.
Well, that's very pleasant.
It really is.
So it's going to be a medium to medium full in terms of body. Probably, I would say medium in terms of strength.
This construction is so solid, and
you
the
feel
draw
that? Yeah.
is
It really
the
is.
draw is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great draw.
This is one of the many reasons I love Roma Craft. I've never had a bad cigar from them. And, I've burned my way through the Cro-Magnon line, through the Aquitaine line, and I was like, this one came up, and I was like, yeah.
I usually like
share
a
this
darker
with boys.
cigar, but I'm really kind of digging on this one.
You're going to, believe me, this will not disappoint you in terms of flavor. All right.
Very nice.
Cigars are lit. Micah had the bottle this week. What do you got for us, buddy?
All right. I brought us the rest of the Rock Town.
That's for later. That's for
Yeah.
later. It's
I didn't
not
bring
for
the
right
shot
now.
glasses out.
No, I
so-
didn't.
We will
Okay.
we will cut for that. We will do a wipe edit for that.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I love it. Okay, so I'm going a little mainstream today
Okay.
because we
No.
haven't... All right. I'm going a little mainstream today because this is a bourbon that I really, really enjoy. We haven't done it on the show, but I know that everybody in this room has had it. Okay? Angel's Envy.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Angel's Envy, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in port wine barrels. I've got a little bit of a history thing on this before we crack it.
Well, while you're talking, hand me the bottle because you forgot to take the plastic off. So I'll do that.
Do that. Okay, so this is Angel's Envy is founded by Lincoln Henderson and his son Wes Henderson in Louisville, Kentucky in 2016. Angel's Envy claims to have innovated the foundations of bourbon and rye through a unique secondary finishing technique by maturing the whiskey in charred oak barrels, then transferring to a secondary finishing cask. So we're no strangers to that on this show. We've had other whiskeys that actually have those kinds of profiles to them. That's why I said claims, because I was like, did they though? Did they really kind of innovate this and push this? I don't know for sure. Maybe some fact checking is in order here, but anyway. So during the aging process, 5% of the spirit is lost each year, called the Angel's Share.
Yep.
So after tasting their finished whiskey, Lincoln joked that they had finally struck a better deal than the Angels. Hence, Angel's Envy.
And then he was immediately struck down by lightning.
Yes. He's no longer with us.
Okay.
But they still have the recipe, so okay.
So yay!
It's charred around the edges.
Okay, so these particular ones, if you've had any Angel's Envy before, you know that there isn't, as far as I know, like just a regular straight bourbon. There's barrel strength, there's cask strength, there's all kinds of different variations of it. But for the most part, you're going to find it available in port, rum, triple oak finish, and a variety of other ones. So the one that we're sampling today is finished in ruby port wine barrels, or wine casks.
Yeah.
Today, it has got a 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley. It is 86.6 proof.
Which means Hockenberry won't touch it.
Sorry. You have to literally set it on fire before he'll drink it.
Hawk, are you turning this down?
He's not a fool, man. It's
So yeah, and I know that we usually like to surprise our guests with different things, but I've decided that there's a couple of mainstream ones that I really want to share with the show. So, Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the sound of the paper crack.
oh, nice one.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So one of the things that I absolutely love about these bottles are the wings.
Oh yeah.
The placement of the wings on the back of the bottle, and then when you're looking at the front, you can kind of see them from behind. It's just so pretty. I love the uniqueness of this bottle.
When Mike is cremated, we're going to put his ashes in one of those bottles.
That's right.
No,
and then
put it
he
in a
will be
Charles
the-
Goodnight bottle.
There you go.
That's my favorite these days.
And then we'll cover it in cigar wrappers.
Don't you dare.
Labels. Yeah.
I'll just start passing these around.
Take one down, pass it around. Ooh, wow. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
He likes me. Look at that.
He likes you better than that guy.
I can top you off if you like.
Ooh, that is very sweet on the nose.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's that port.
Angels is one of my favorites. I know it's very mainstream. It's very easy to get your hands on.
Is it
Sorry.
all?
Boom, boom, boom.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Has it always been easy to get your hands on this?
For me, at least, since I first started getting into bourbons.
All right.
It's widely available in a lot of restaurants that do any kind of cocktails. Because one of the nice things about Angels is that it's a great sipper, in my opinion, but it's also a great mixer too. If you want to do like a really nice fancy bourbon based.
Do you remember what
cocktail.
the price point is on this?
Yeah, it's about $50.
Okay. So yeah, for $50, I'm thinking I want it good enough to sip, but if I want to make a cocktail with it, I don't want to feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's got a lingering finish.
Yep.
It's not a fast finish at all.
No ethanol burn so much as a nice
it's
warm.
just warm. Yeah.
Just like a rye peppery.
It's like a spirity hug.
Your typical vanilla and caramel, but I get some raisin.
What is that on the nose?
Yeah.
It's like heavy caramel.
Yeah.
Or burnt, some kind of burnt sugar.
Like a creme brulee. Because I'm getting a little creaminess off of it too.
This is, you are the bourbon guy, in my opinion, of the three of us. This is one of the sweetest bourbons you've ever brought to the show.
Yes, but
I'm not in a bad way. I'm not disparaging it at all.
What's nice though is that it doesn't I don't know, give me the headache. There are
Right.
certain ones that hit those corn levels that just punch me in
too much sugar.
Yeah, my headache or a migraine the next day. It's yeah. And I did heavy-hand us on that, so
We just call that generosity. That's just Michael's
we're down half a
generosity coming
bottle
through.
on the
Right.
first drink.
That's right.
It's gonna be a great show, everybody.
And if you
hey, we love you.
hey, shh, hey, shh, hey, shh, shh. I love you guys.
Okay. All right. We'll be doing that for real later. But right now, as you probably no doubt saw or inferred from the open of the show,
Or if you've seen the title of the episode.
or if you've seen the title, or all the other things, all the other
doing
things.
that.
I really do have to stop doing that.
No,
Oh,
you
Brent
stop
stopped doing that. Oh, okay. Well, you know, he so often never gets a chance to be snarky on the show.
That's right.
He
So we
doesn't-
have to let him.
You're right.
We have to let him snark once
That's
in
right.
a while.
Brent's
I'm-
usually never ever snarky.
No, in real life, not at all.
oh, sorry.
Brent,
Sound effects.
why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers what we're going to nerd out about today?
We are going to talk about retro gaming.
That's the reason I wore the shirt today. We can get into it later, but
Well, I did not get the memo because I thought we were talking about the Olympics. Shit. I have nothing to contribute to this conversation. I studied up on all the cute little Chinese high divers. I got nothing to bring.
Apparently
to
the Irish Olympics, because
Oh, that's right, boy. The Irish Olympics. Well, I'm
is it by or bio?
boyo.
There it
It's
is.
boy. It's
Boyo.
boyo. It doesn't
Boyo.
matter. Doesn't matter. Yes, my lovely wife and Mr. Producer Hockenberry and his lovely wife, we all went to Irish Fest, the North Texas Irish Fest
Nice.
yesterday, and that is where I got this hat made in, I believe it was made in Donegal, was it not? So it's 100% tweed. I feel very, very important right now.
oh, by
Do
the
you
way,
feel very very warm?
speaking of Irish, today's Texas Independence Day, March 2nd.
Speaking of Irish.
Yeah, that was the best segue ever.
Speaking of vacuum cleaners.
I really thought he was going to go, speaking of Ireland, or speaking of all things Irish, let's talk about the first third of the cigar.
Yeah,
Which we're not there
We're
yet.
not there yet.
No.
But it is Texas
so-
Independence Day, so
So,
yeah.
for those of you who actually listen to the show or watch the show in Texas, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, where were we?
Retro
What's the
Retro
topic?
gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, retro gaming, yeah.
All right. So, why don't you kick us off with retro gaming?
Well, so do you want me to start with like some history of retro
Yeah,
consoles?
let's do some history.
All
get
right.
into
Well, let's go through a list of
Let's go back to the days of the home arcade.
Yeah. So, did you know in
Doesn't count unless he does
Do you
it.
guys remember this? In 1972, the Magnavox Odyssey. Do you remember that? It's actually
heard it.
considered the first console, I think.
1972?
Yeah.
Did it have only one game?
No, it actually had 28 games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning this for the first time.
Yeah.
This is why we do this show, people.
Yeah. And
I
then
might be confusing it with arcade cabinets. Arcade cabinets.
Arcade, yeah.
That's right.
Sorry,
and then of course the 2600 Atari
Yes.
2600 came out in
That's where I
1977.
started.
Yep.
That's where I started. In
Yeah.
consoles.
Around officially licensed games, because even back then there were bootleg games.
Oh, yeah.
565.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of pixel games, just moving boxes like this.
But it was so awesome.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, I mean, you were just like, first of all, as a kid, I think one of the things that appealed to me about video games at home on my television is it gave me a measure of control that I did not otherwise have in my life.
Sure. Yeah.
I have a very active imagination. Always had even when I was a kid. I was a big reader, loved TV, loved movies. But it's a passive experience. Now I was controlling the action, and that's why I love.
Yeah.
It was
to this
special.
day why I still love
I'm
video
totally
games.
with you on that, and especially so I started on Atari 2600, and I absolutely fell in love with adventure. I loved defeating the big dragon. I love it. There was something about adventure, being able to go through and play it and just problem solve it. And what the greatest thing about consoles and video games back then is that your imagination took over. So yes, I might have been a character that was a block, but I was a fighter. I was in full plate. I had a sword and a shield. Well, I'm sorry, once you got the sword.
Right.
And when that dragon came in, man, he was going to step on me, and there was going to be goo, and it was going to be nasty. So my imagination took over until later consoles showed us the actual goo.
Yeah.
Yeah, until the graphics got better. Yeah. I mean, that worked for us. I mean, you know, and
The only limit is your imagination.
That's right. I, you know, for a long time after playing Adventure, I thought that every time you grabbed a key, you just held it out to the side like this and walked around.
Did you guys ever play Barnstorming?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It was actually a game.
Wait, is that the one with the biplane?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was made by Activision for Atari. Early 80s, I think it was. But that's like the one I remember the most. And that was like, if I'm on the spectrum, I'm on the spectrum for this because I love repetitive tasks. Because that game was just one thing that you did. That's all you did.
Yeah.
Avoid stuff and fly through the barn. Avoid stuff and fly through the barn.
Yeah.
You do it faster. Sometimes you do it slower. But that's
Right.
all you did.
Yeah.
And I would, you know, anything that required, you know, next level thinking or strategy, I sucked at all that shit. But drive it through the barn, avoid the ducks. Yeah, I can do that all day long. That was me.
Wait, ducks or dragons?
Yeah.
Well, they were.
I get them so confused
They
back
were
then.
ducktons. Yeah, they were sort of a hybrid.
So I actually had this in 1979 Intellivision came out, had 125 games. So the most popular game for Intellivision ever. I actually have another list too of the most popular game by year for each console.
Cool.
Astro Smash. I don't know if you remember that.
one. I do.
I loved that
I had
game.
friends that had Intellivision.
Yeah.
I did not.
That was me too. I had to go play on somebody else's console. We didn't have.
Well, one of the things I remember about Intellivision, so I was kind of the explorer type. Like, and anytime someone handed me something, I immediately wanted to take it apart and figure out how it worked, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so there was this racing game on Intellivision. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a little F1 Formula One car.
Really?
And you were like driving these streets that went like this, you know, because they
Yeah.
couldn't do curves.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
right,
really,
right.
it is. But you could go off. So you're like in a forest or something, and you could actually go off and just drive forever. Like it was endless. Because I
You
would
mean
sit
like
there.
if you drove off the track?
Yeah, and you could drive through the forest, and you could just keep going. And I was
Pole position.
yeah, I would sit here and I would just try to find like there's got to be an end somewhere, but it just endlessly scrolled. It was crazy. So props to the game makers for that.
Oh my gosh, pole position. That reminded me of that
Yeah.
so much. And
Yeah.
then that movie Daryl, where the kid from the Neverending Story was playing pole position at light speed.
Yeah,
Because of course, in every Atari game, there's really no end.
that's right.
You know,
Yeah.
That's true.
Number 4.
I never thought about that.
gets faster and
Yeah,
faster
it
until
just
you
gets
die.
faster till you die. Kind of like life.
That's true.
Boom!
It's funny because it's true.
That truth bomb was free.
Number 4, ColecoVision, 1982, 145 games.
Oh, I got to ask you something. How did your friends feel when you went over to their house to play their consoles and then you started taking it apart in front of them?
I showed it with my soldering iron. And I screwdriver hit it.
I can improve this.
We're doing surgery.
I'm going to make it better.
They get mad at first, but then when you actually give them, when you actually provided AI in the 80s,
That's right.
then
That's right.
people were appreciative.
All I needed was a piece of bubble gum and a paper clip. MacGyver that
Brett
thing.
McGive.
So Atari 5200, 1982,
Yeah.
only had 69 games.
It's like the
Total?
steam.
Like-
The steam out of the Atari series was starting to fade because I remember the hype around 2600. It was huge.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
1983 was a magic year. We'll
right.
get to that and figure out why.
Nice.
Oh, look, it's next. The NES was released 1983.
The Nintendo NES.
Yeah, and
gosh.
the games Super Mario and the NES are credited with reviving the home console industry
As they should.
It was crashing at that point. Yeah.
And then when they released the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt combination, oh my gosh, I felt like a dead eye when I was using on that little 13-inch screen
light gun.
TV, and I got my light gun and I'm like bam, 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 and all the ducks are dying. I'm like, man, I'm good at this. Sorry. Sorry.
I think Micah's meds have kicked in.
Yes,
Yeah.
the narcotics pair well with the angel's envy.
This will close out the 70s and 80s. Number 7, the Sega Master System was 1985. 341 games.
There's one I did not play.
Oh, I'm sorry. The NES had 715 games, by the way.
Yeah, and I
I never played on a Sega.
Oh well, I played on a Sega Genesis, but not that one.
I never played on either. Yeah, NES, Super NES, remember those. There was one. Well, you've had more game consoles to talk about?
If you want to go through the 90s, I do.
Yeah, let's go.
If you have a comment about a console, let's do it like when he announces. Or something.
Well, because I think one of my favorite games. I think my buddy Steve Woodson had this console. One of my favorite, or maybe it was Jeffrey. Anyway, I think it was called Ninja Gaiden.
Oh,
y'all remember that?
Yes, Ninja Gaiden was on NES.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
It was special. Yeah. Right there with Legend of Cage.
Legend of Cage.
Oh my gosh. All right, well let's start off the 90s. The Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Actually 1988 in Japan, 89 in North America, 878 games.
So the Genesis is very important to me because right before the Genesis came out, I fell in love with an arcade game called Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
The first one, not the second, third, Turbo, 4, 5, 8, 72.
Well, they had to make all of those games, Mike, because there were so many unanswered questions from 1, 2, and 3.
There really was.
Yeah.
And there was a story to be told.
Yeah.
So the first Mortal Kombat I absolutely fell in love with. And I found out that Mortal Kombat was being released on SNES, and which I'm sure we'll get to in a second, and Sega Genesis. But Sega, there was so much hype from the parents about the blood.
I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
So what happened was SNES, being all family friendly, was like, yeah, no blood. We're not going to put any blood in our Mortal Kombat game. And you're like, what? And Sega Genesis is like, okay, we're going to have it in ours. And then they got stomped on. It's like, oh, okay, so there's a blood code.
Yeah.
Because that prevents kids from getting
Well,
to
is it that when they started, when did they start putting the ratings on video games? When did that happen?
That's an excellent question. I'm surprised you actually don't have that in your notes.
I didn't even think about it till just now.
Yeah.
Was it around the time that Tipper Gore was trying to ruin music for everybody?
I don't know.
I remember it on PlayStation 1 games, if that's helpful. I remember the rating happening on those.
PlayStation 1 was 1995 in North America.
Clinton administration. I was right.
So, the SNES just happens to be the next one.
The SNES.
91, 1,757 games.
Oh my gosh.
So many cool games, so many cool graphics. Probably finished only one of them.
And then here comes Atari. Bum, bum, bum. The Atari Jaguar, 50 games.
Oh my gosh! If you had not brought that up, I never would have remembered.
I forgot about
Exactly.
the Jaguar. Yeah, I forgot about the most forgettable console that was ever invented. Wow, I should take a drink for that.
Yeah, PlayStation was released in 95 in North America. Around
I had the first PlayStation.
Around 7,918 games.
Yeah,
Believable.
I had that.
Console
that was
sold so well.
fun.
Yeah, that was so crazy. I remember that. And then Nintendo 64 was 1996 with 393 games.
Special place in my heart for any of the NES fans out there that loved Legend of Zelda. When you got your hands on Ocarina in Time, your head exploded. You had to go and get your head repaired from a doctor.
From a head doctor.
From a head doctor. And after you got that done, then you can come back and play it. Head blew up again, go back to the doctor, do it again. And
the
then
doctor's obviously just a bunch of kids with bandage around their head.
Yep.
He's like, oh, another head blew.
Yeah, I know. And the doctor's like, cha-ching, cha-ching.
So many blown up heads.
But Ocarina in Time just blew me away because the storyline was amazing, the music was amazing.
All right. Well, I got 4 for the 2000s.
So
we'll
good.
consider those retro since it's, over 20 years ago, I guess. The Sega Dreamcast, 1999, 624 games.
Okay.
Yeah. Dreamcast did a pretty decent job of trying to compete because their graphics were definitely superior.
So they got the participation trophy of the gaming world.
They got the purple ribbon.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations. You made a thing.
And then the big deal, PlayStation 2 in 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Around 4,380 games.
Love that one.
Yeah.
I actually went back and bought a PlayStation 2 Slim,
Okay.
which is very tiny,
Yeah.
so that I could go back and play Spider-Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction, the Battlestar Galactica game, and there's a Marvel game called Schnikes.
That is not what it's called.
There was a Marvel game that it was a one-on-one fighter. You could actually play as Daredevil, play as Wolverine, except he was in his white tank top and jeans.
Did Sega make that game?
I don't
Because it looked a lot like. Didn't it look like Street Fighter?
No, it was actually in a 3D environment.
Oh, it was?
You could use the environment to play. Chris,
that's
can
not
you
what
help
I'm
me?
thinking of.
Okay.
Oh well,
Somebody will.
look it up.
Rise
nerds.
of
Look it up.
Wait, Rise of the Imperfects. I might be wrong, but I think
That
that's
sounds like something Squirrely Dan would say on Letterkenny.
Is that
Well,
what
that
you
was the rise of the imperfects.
We are in agreements. Your sister's hot.
Is that what you appreciate about it?
Yeah.
Nintendo GameCube 2001, 662 games.
Okay, who here got on board with that? You did?
I did not.
What was your favorite game on that?
X-Wing was
There was
Rogue Squadron.
Of course, there was a.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when I had an LCD projector, and we would project it on the wall. So it was like a 15-foot tall.
Toy, like a
It was like,
Toyger.
Yeah.
gaming in IMAX.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
awesome.
Also, that's when I discovered that I was losing my inner ear and I was getting motion sickness.
Oh, shiza.
Oh, no.
Because after playing that for a while and flying around and stuff, I'm kind of like, oh.
So I loved Rogue Squadron as well, but I played that on N64.
Okay.
I didn't know that they had that one for Cube. That's cool.
I believe it was Cube I played it on because we had the N64 too. I believe it was Cube.
Yeah, I remember there was a Zelda game that came out for the GameCube that was real special. Buddy of mine from work actually lent me his system and the game to play it. I got attacked by chickens and I never played it again.
Wait, in the game or in real
In the
life?
game.
Oh, okay.
While I was playing horde of
listen,
chickens, it was crazy,
That's
man.
just, I mean, it wouldn't be the weirdest story you've told on the
All right,
show.
last one for the 2000s. Microsoft Xbox 2001, around 1,000 games. So I remember when Xbox and PlayStation, the wars between.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
Xbox
Did you
and
just go to
PlayStation.
Xbox One?
Yeah.
Xbox 360 was before that.
It just says Xbox. The original Xbox.
Oh, straight up Xbox.
Yeah, straight up
then
Xbox.
360, then Xbox One.
Right.
Xbox, no ice.
Well, it's
Xbox, neat.
It's important to differentiate because there
Yeah.
actually was a system after 360 called Xbox One.
Correct.
Right.
So,
Yep.
okay.
All right.
Because-
Let's take a pause here and talk about the first third because we're there
Yes.
now. Except, well, no, Brandon's definitely there, or his cigar's just been
Yeah,
slowly
I
burning
have to
away.
apologize to our audience. I'm really, really excited about this topic.
I can tell.
And I've only had one piece of bread for lunch. Cheers.
Pizza, man.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for this week's edition of Greatest Joke in the World. It's going to be good. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So what are we thinking about the Volstead boys from Roma Craft?
Oh, my gosh. So pleasant.
I'm still getting from the cold draw, lots of nuttiness, caramel, a little bit of cedar. Still getting all that.
What I love about a cigar that I can smoke where I can say several things like that, I agree with everything you just said. It's telling me that this is definitely not a one-note cigar.
No, it's not.
There's nothing that is jumping out in front,
Can I
which
ask
can
you
often
guys
take it
something?
over.
Can I ask you guys to take just one little hit and then let me ask you a question? Is anybody getting a tad of prune on the back end?
No, I'm not getting prune.
Okay. Just me then.
Do you need to go to the bathroom, Micah?
I was right. Rise of the Imperfects. Holy shnikes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, good Chris.
Producer comes through for Micah.
Oh, you are the bomb, baby.
Still sounds like Squirrely Dan made that title.
Okay, well let's go back to
I appreciate that game. Sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry, that didn't land.
So I'm assuming we all had multiple consoles throughout our gaming career, right?
Still do.
Started with the 2600. I had the Intellivision. I believe we had the ColecoVision. I've had all versions of the NES. I've had Xbox 360, Xbox One. I've never personally owned a PlayStation.
Is there a reason for that? Sounds like a choice.
I mean, by the time they were coming out, I was kind of getting out of. I was moving more to PC games at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't on console so much.
Yep.
But my kids have had all manners of PlayStations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've played them and I loved them and they were super fun. I just never personally bought one for myself. So, what is your favorite console?
Go ahead, Micah.
No, you go first.
I mean, I'm of the three of us here, I did not game nearly as much as these guys. So this is the episode where Larry learns a lot, which I love those episodes. But for me, when I first got the 2600, my mom and dad had to kick me off of the TV because
Much
we
like
only
Larry
had
did at the beginning of the episode.
we only had one TV in the house, a Curtis Mathis. with a 4-year warranty.
That's right.
And it was one of those console TVs, so it was built into a wooden frame, and it weighed about 750 pounds. But I would, I would play on it and play on it and play on it, and then eventually be, and it was, and again, it was all about having some measure of control, right? So I loved those games. Then I would only ever, like, as a teenager, I did not game. I would go to my friends' houses and play games.
Yeah.
And I had friends who absolutely, whatever the newest console is, we have to get that. That's the next one we're getting, because you never know, right? It could be a flop. It could be awesome. There's brand new games. You start to get bored with the games you play all the time. So I got to play on some early versions of NES, some Segas. I did actually play on Intellivision back in the day.
Nice.
But then for myself, when I got Wishbone money, I got the first PlayStation.
Nice.
And that was when I was, and then I became that kid all over again.
Yeah.
Now we had more than one TV in the house, so I didn't have to bother my ex-wife. And I would just play.
Right.
So it's the 2600 as a kid, and then later as an adult, it was the first PlayStation.
Yeah.
All right. So if I was schizophrenic, there are multiple voices in my head announcing favorites over and over again, and subject line that just kind of overlapping. It's really complicated. I apologize.
And they're all screaming for attention.
Yeah. So let's start and I won't go crazy, but let's start at the beginning here. I fell in love with NES, and part of the imagination that I took from the 2600 in a pixel form, where my imagination was really kicking in, went into full gear in NES. There was like a helicopter game. I remember watching there was a movie with Nicolas Cage about helicopters, which I think is called maybe Firebirds or something. It's kind of cheesy these days, but it was a lot of fun. It came out roughly after Top Gun, and
so when everybody was making military flying movies,
it was piggybacking on the popularity of military flying movies. So like there was a helicopter game that was wonderful. Pro wrestling was like one of my all-time favorite NES games. Super Mario Brothers, of course, Super Mario 2, Legend of Zelda 2. I mean, it just, I think that to answer your question and just shut the F up, it would be NES.
What about you?
NES.
NES. So I have a question, because again, you guys were much more seeped in this world as kids than I was. Is there a particular game that you can remember that it had sort of like leveled up, whether it was the graphics or the gameplay or whatever it was? Like the first time you played that game, you were like, "Oh shit!"
PS2.
Okay,
Definitely PS2. So I have to tell you this.
but do you remember the game?
Totally.
Okay,
Is he going to tell us the game?
He is.
okay.
He is.
He's teasing us. He's such a dirty tease.
I'm so.
It's like, hey, can you hand me that? Yes, I can. Anyway.
This is one of those episodes where if anybody interrupts me, it's totally cool, because I can't shut my brain up right now. So when PS1 came out, I was hardcore PC gamer. And I was like, I'm not jumping back on a console. I had just come off of N64. I was so happy with what I had there. But
he had his 2-year token. He was clean.
PC was delivering every single thing that I needed. And I just absolutely loved it. I mean, we're talking like Baldur's Gate 2 and Neverwinter Nights and Doom and Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament and just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But specifically when PlayStation 2 came out is when I decided to fold, because I was watching my buddy play PlayStation 1. He was playing Final Fantasy 7, and I was just absolutely amazed at how wonderful that was. That graphical experience when they were doing, because it's a turn-based game, so when stuff would happen, it was like, their special moves would happen, and I saw graphics that I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
Now, when it came to PlayStation 2, it was Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Based on the Spider-Man 2 movie with Tobey Maguire.
Yep.
And that was an open world
Yep.
console game with Spider-Man through the whole part of Manhattan. It was special.
I remember playing the Spider-Man game. I think they had one on Xbox too.
I don't doubt it.
Do you remember? Was there a particular game that?
Oh yeah.
What was it?
Zelda.
Zelda.
Yeah.
On which console?
NES.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the graphically like impressed you?
No, it was the gameplay.
Okay, so he was talking about graphics, like
No, I said any of those things.
I'm sorry.
Could be graphics, could be gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, later on there were much better graphic games, but I mean, just remember, growing up playing things like the Atari 2600 and kind of gradually watching the graphics stepping up. So NES wasn't. I mean, the graphics weren't a great improvement by that point. But
it was an engagement factor.
Yeah, so those are the kind of games I love. The games where you can explore, and it's like, with Zelda, I just remember it was like every time you saw a bush, you either burned the bush or hit the bush because there could be something under there, or you would see a little split in a rock in a cave, and you could bomb that and open it up.
Can I ask
or you could push
guys,
a rock and find something.
Can I ask you? Was the original Zelda a text-based game?
No.
There was a game my buddy Doug used to play. It was a text-based game on his Commodore 64, and it was a fantasy game. And I thought it was Zelda, but it must have been something else.
Well, there is one called Adventure.
Adventure?
Yeah, and you had to enter 2-word commands to work your way through and explore.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Fantastic.
Maybe that's what.
And
it
then
was.
there was Zork.
Zork, of course.
That was the one.
That was the one.
That was the one.
Zork.
Zork. So Z. It was.
You
I knew
might
it was a Z
be.
word.
You might be eaten by a grue.
Yeah.
Most likely you will be.
Most likely. Thank you. Thank you. Actually.
Well, I was just curious about that because were there ever any text-based games that you played as kids that became video games later for you?
Oh, that's a really
That's a good question. I don't think so.
So, I think there was, and I feel like you're holding back over there, Chris. Oh, really? Okay. So I was
Quit bothering the producer.
I apologize. I'm
sorry.
I'm not supposed to engage the producer.
God.
Don't look him in the eye. Don't talk to him.
Sorry. Hold on, guys. All right. No, I think that now, to answer your question, Zork came out with a PC version that added graphics.
Okay.
So originally being text-based.
But I think they were just static graphics. They weren't it wasn't like motion graphics, I don't think, right?
You know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that was a deliberate choice because people, as a storyteller, I always believe that my imagination is better than anything.
Yeah.
So if I had created a world in a text-based game and then it became a video game, I might be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't what it was in my head.
Well, I remember things like Leisure
Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry and the Land of the Lounge Lizards.
Yep.
I said that with bourbon. And King's Quest, Space Quest, all of these. Police Quest.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the
That was the one with
that was
Bobcat
Sierra.
Goldthwait, right? No, sorry.
All
that was,
the Sierra
that
games.
That was a different thing.
Police Academy.
And at Richardson Square, I can't say this drunk or sober.
Richardson
Square Mall. Richardson
Bastards.
Square Mall had a shop called Electronics Boutique.
Yep.
And you went in there and they had the line of Sierra games just
Yep.
on the wall.
Yep.
And they had to, at the end of the day, they had to wipe my drool off of every single cartridge.
Just your drool, hopefully.
Yes,
Okay.
just the... God bless America.
Home sweet home.
Oh, yeah.
What was it called?
Might and Magic. Might and Magic. Yeah, that's right.
Might and Magic.
Might and Magic. Okay.
Did you say Hunt the Wampus?
Hunt the Wampus was originally a text-based game.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought that was a euphemism all this time. My bad. Hunt the Wampus.
It depends on what crowd you
What are you
ran
doing
with.
tonight? We're going to hunt the Wampus. I'll tell you that.
That was for the non-nerds.
Chris texted me that. Hey, you want to come play Hunt the Wampus?
Is that code for
I'm
something?
good, man.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You hunt your own Wampus.
So you
buddy.
bit,
Best
you
of
went
luck.
over, you were as a video game, you were really disappointed.
All right. So did you answer console? Favorite game?
Oh, fudgesicle.
That's like asking Micah to choose between his children.
I know. I mean,
So good question.
I could go right down the console list and give you that.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, there's not enough time.
Let's do this. I've got a list of the most popular games by console by year. Okay.
Okay.
1972, Magnavox Odyssey, table tennis, the inspiration for Pong.
Yes.
2600, 77 was Combat.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
Combat came with the actual console.
Yes.
So it was a freebie. But as for favorite game, come on, Pitfall.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Okay. I
But
actually
was that
agree with Mike
77
on
though?
this.
Because this is by year.
Oh, actually, I don't know.
Because that was Activision. It may come up later. 78 was Space Invaders.
Yes.
79 was Asteroids.
Yep.
Yep.
In television, 1980, Astro Smash, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in 1981.
That's right.
Yeah, remember
My
that?
heart.
Yeah,
My heart,
remember that?
people.
Yeah. No ducks in that one.
Well, there
no
were,
chickens either,
but they
but-
breathe fire.
ColecoVision, Donkey Kong, and Zaxxon.
I remember Zaxxon.
I remember playing Zaxxon on ColecoVision.
Yeah, I
Love
remember
me some
Zaxxon.
Zaxxon.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh, yeah.
That was right up there
Um,
with Defender.
Okay, so
Williams Defender, yeah.
so NES 1985 was Super Mario Brothers. 86 Zelda.
Yep.
87 Metroid.
Oh my gosh,
I
Metroid.
forgot about Metroid.
That was
Yeah.
the first time I killed Mother Brain. I'm serious. I put the controller down. I cried a little, and I went outside. I made myself a trophy out of sticks or something. I don't know. I was so happy.
and I
with
had a sandwich.
Or a piece of bread.
and some goldfish and some bread.
Some bread.
Thank you, sir.
I'm never gonna
That's
live
it.
that down.
You're not. You're not. We're not going to tell that story here.
And
But
88 was Super Mario Bros. 3.
That was fun, but I really liked Super Mario 2 better than that.
Okay, 89 DuckTales.
DuckTales was fun. You played as Scrooge McDuck. I did play this one. I liked it. There was something about the way that you could jump and interact. It was like an evolution of Super Mario Brothers.
So for Super Nintendo, of course, 1991 was Super Mario World. And then 1992 was Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Yeah, and it was fun, but it wasn't as captivating. I'll tell you what, though, when it came to Super NES, I don't know if it's on the list, but when they started releasing super games, so like they would basically just take the old game and put the word super in front of it, like Super Star Wars, Super
Extra
Empire
strength
Strikes
aspirin.
Back,
Yeah.
Super Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So 1980,
So hard,
Super
so fun.
Superman.
1993. Yeah.
Awesome.
1993 they did Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Oh
Ah,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And then 1994 Super Metroid.
There you go.
There's one I never played.
Okay, and this is going to be a big duh, but 1991 Sega Genesis Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah, it was Sega's Mario.
Yeah. And then 92 was Mortal Kombat. And then 94 was Sonic and Knuckles. So,
I'm sorry, the Sonic and Knuckles. It was like what?
Whose idea was that, by the way?
right.
I know, right?
He's gonna have a sidekick.
So
we're
first-
gonna call him Knuckles.
Sony PlayStation.
He was looking at a dude across the way from the computer, going, "We should have a We should have a character named Knuckles."
That's when the mob
you
invested.
creepy.
That's when what?
That's when the mob invested. And they had a lieutenant that was watching the game makers.
I
got
really
an
appreciate
idea.
you taking it away from my sexual reference
Yeah.
to
I got an idea.
mob reference.
So I knew this guy in Brooklyn. His name was Joey Knuckles, right? Because his knuckles were always busted up because he used to beat the shit out of people.
I just
How
thought
about
it
you
was
have a
from the
character?
jeans he wore.
How about you have a character? Let's call him Knuckles.
Good thing he wasn't called Joey Bag of Donuts.
I don't know why that still cracks me up.
All right.
Scheisse.
Sony PlayStation 95 Twisted Metal.
Fun.
Yeah.
I remember that game existing. I don't think I ever played it.
Yeah, it was like a car game of sorts.
Yeah.
And then they
Well,
made,
have you seen?
they made a
there's
show on
there's
it
a show.
recently.
Yeah, it's on Prime, right? Amazon Prime.
think so.
Anthony Mackie's in it.
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Was this sort of like the precursor to Borderlands?
What?
Was it like a
Oh,
post-apocalyptic
Peacock?
thing?
Kind of.
It's on Peacock.
Kind of.
Was it like a post-apocalyptic thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like the precursor to Borderlands,
But all driving.
Yeah.
but all driving.
But all around cars. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, 1996 Resident Evil.
Oh my gosh. So my wife and I had just started dating, and I was trying to impress my sister-in-law, so I was like, I'll buy lunch for us all, order some Chinese or something because, we were poor. And they were doing something, and we got the I noticed that they had a PlayStation and that they had Resident Evil. And I'm like, "Oh, do you mind if I try this?
Sit on this for 8 hours?
Because that's what you do. That's what you do on a date. When you're meeting your sister-in-law for the first time. Hey, do you mind if I go play video games?
All right.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys got girl stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
I already got the girlfriend. I can just go ahead and nerd
yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
97 Final Fantasy 7 on PlayStation.
Special place.
I played that.
98 Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid, yeah.
Now, to be fair,
to be fair.
the original Metal Gear, NES.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
original Metal Gear and that one, because you've got this little character and you had to. It was the first kind of stealthy working around corners and doing things. I didn't expect the game to have the intelligence that it did. To actually satisfy the stealthy one-man work around the system, because not everybody's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Was that another like level up game for you? Like, oh my god, we can do this now.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And then 99, a little piece of ash on there. 99 was Gran Turismo 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't get into,
that was a racing game, right?
Yes, I didn't get into racing games as much as some of my other
I
friends.
really
did.
didn't either. I mean, except for Super Mario Kart.
It's because of our need for RPG and fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite games were always the fantasy games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, always. Nintendo 64, 1996, Super Mario 64.
Oh my gosh, that game was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much.
And then finally, 1997, of course, GoldenEye. Yeah.
A moment of silence for the most beautiful game.
I almost wanted to do like a little musical stinger. I was going to play it and see if anybody could recognize it, but then it gets really obvious.
Oh, do you have the stinger?
No. I was going to, but then I was going to go guess the game, and then
He talked
halfway through
himself out of it.
it's literally the James Bond theme.
Because
So it's like,
because remember back in the MCU episode when he gave us a half dozen movie quotes and they were all from the same movie? Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so ramped up. I'm like, I got to get my brain in the place where I can actually do this.
Infinity War.
Hold on.
Yeah,
It's all Infinity War.
Yeah, it was all Infinity War.
it's all the time I had. Sorry.
Dick.
Okay, so tell me if I've never played this game. So tell me if you like it. Okay. 1998, Nintendo 64, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
That's the one I was talking about. That's the one that actually made my mind explode, because
That was the head blowing up.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
The doctor.
That was
Yeah.
all the kids had to go to the head doctor.
Because what was so amazing about that game is that not only were you familiar with the character that you'd already played through Zelda 2, but when you get to Ocarina in Time, now you're in a 3D environment, much like Super Mario 64.
Wait, is that the one where you can with the hang glider?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Hang gliding comes later, I think, in Breath of the Wild.
Okay. Yeah.
So much later. So, but Ocarina in Time was amazing because you start off as Link, and he's like a little kid, much like he is in all the other games. But then you take your Master Sword once you get it, and you stab it in this thing, and it transports you to the future, where the entire 3D environment is completely changed from a peaceful society to a war-torn society. And you're an adult. And you can go back and forth.
Gotcha.
Chills. Actual chills.
You could, but you couldn't play the game unless you had the memory expansion unit for the 64.
That I didn't know.
Okay.
Buy the special memory expansion.
You had to buy a memory expansion to play that game. Wow.
So the
We
game
may
was
need to
bigger
fact
than the
check that, because
console?
I remember being on N64 and being able to go past and future constantly, and my head was just. But I did have an expansion pack in my N64, so I don't know what the factor was, or if
That's
that was.
interesting.
But anyway, oh my gosh,
Okay. All right.
open world environment,
Well,
graphics were amazing at the time.
Okay, and then by this time I had gotten pretty much out of console gaming, so a lot of these I played. Like my kids were still into console gaming, so every once in a while I'd jump on there with them and play some of these games, but I wasn't big into these, except for this one, Microsoft Xbox 2001, not 2000 wood. I don't know what that is.
We know what it is.
Well,
2001 Halo, and then 2004 Halo 2. I loved the Halo games.
I had friends that were desperately into the Halo games. There was one game that I really, really liked a lot that was kind of along that same line, that was Second Third of the Cigar.
Nicely done.
Okay, I'll take it.
Nicely done.
Your terms are acceptable.
I appreciate you, Brent.
That's what she appreciates about me.
One of these days,
Your hair is hot.
One of these days, we're gonna do an episode
There, I said it.
There, I said
where
it.
we don't have any Letterkenny references. But today is not that day.
Ooh, Shoresy season 2 is out. Go watch it. All right, go ahead.
Season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was called Shirley.
4. I was gonna say it's 4.
Shirley.
Yeah,
As in
that's-
Laverne.
That's what.
It's
No,
season
that's what he
4.
texted us the other night.
Shoresy. Oh,
He said. He said. Sure.
A
He
joke,
said
people,
new
a
season
joke.
of Shirley
And
just dropped.
It's season 4, by the way, not 2.
Season 4, it's Shoresy Part 2.
thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad we got that
I'm
cleared
sorry,
up in our
everybody.
episode
The
about
angels
retro
are speaking.
gaming.
So what are
Lord.
they telling you about the cigar, Micah?
Yeah, since you brought it up.
All right.
Way to throw it back in his face, buddy.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's so consistent.
Yes.
I mean, I'm getting a little bit warmer. So this is the other thing that is very, very obvious. Every single time we do a show and I get excited about a topic, I Janine Garofalo this thing.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot more of the cedar now.
Yes.
Very cedar strong. Very
Yep.
cedar forward.
Yes.
Cedar forward, sure. Yep. The construction on this thing is remarkable. Generally, every time I smoke a cigar, I have to do 1, 2, 3 touch-ups at some point.
I got to put that down.
I have not had to. I had to relight due to our technical difficulties,
Yep.
but I have not had to touch this up. It is burning perfectly.
Yep.
The flavor is still delicious and consistent. I am getting a little more cedar, like you said, but that's not bothering me at all.
Oh, no, it's not a bother.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, no.
It's delicious.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah. I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
All right.
What's next, Brent?
Well, I was going to...
Quick correction. And Mike is right here. It wasn't Ocarina of Time. It was Majora's Mask
That was the second one.
that required the expansion.
Okay.
Okay.
Majora's Mask required you to have.
This is cool. We can fact check in real time now.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
It's not like in post where I'm just
So
like, I'm just going to cut it.
So
We were
what
so
was?
wrong.
Hang on. So for our 3 viewers who give a shit, what was the actual game called that you needed the expansion pack on?
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask.
Which,
Okay.
by the way, was the same kind of format as Ocarina in Time because it was so popular.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't as entertaining as the first one.
I see. So for Ocarina of Time, that's hands down. That's the one for you.
That was the N64 game of N64 games.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that leads me to my next question. What is the one game that you would sacrifice everyone and everything you know to keep playing?
Wow.
Is it okay to say all of them?
I mean,
So just for
that's where your priorities are.
just
That's
for,
where you're living your life.
so get this short story time. We move the big screen TV upstairs, and I take all the game systems and I put them upstairs because I actually had them split between 2 TVs upstairs and downstairs. I gotta stop for a second and get too happy.
There's no such thing.
And 1 piece of bread. All right. So,
That's the name of your emo band right there. Getting too happy with 1 piece of bread.
so it took me a half a day to pull out the cabinet, get all the game systems together, get them all properly routed through the HDMI splitters and various devices and everything, get them set up through the everything. My big screen upstairs where all the gaming happens is there. There are like 7 consoles. 7 consoles in 1 cabinet, and I've got it set up to the fact where you just basically input, bip, bip, done.
How did you have time to have a family?
You know, I mean, all you have to do is the act a couple of times, and then the family's made, and then you go back to gaming.
Okay. Fair.
It's good parenting right there.
And that's how you raise children.
So,
Man.
Snoogans.
But Micah didn't actually answer the question.
Yeah.
What was the game that you would sacrifice everything to keep playing?
Just one game. You got to pick one.
One.
Just one.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And believe me, I know that he hates that as
Yeah.
much as you hate that
Yeah,
question.
I know.
You know what,
I feel you.
Brent? What is the one song you could listen to for the rest of your life?
It's
and
a
no
Rush
others?
song.
Yeah.
It's probably
What is the
off Moving
one Rush
Pictures.
song? This is harmful. This is hurtful. All right. So, okay. If I had to like boil it down to actually one game only, oh God, I'm gonna regret this. Skyrim,
Skyrim.
Okay.
Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. That game changed my life when it came to gaming because it fulfilled the role-playing need.
Mm-hmm.
It fulfilled the customization need, the graphic need, the sound need, the music need, every single combination of factors there. It all boiled into that one thing. It was a perfect storm of game perfection.
Interesting.
That is interesting. What about you, Brent?
Minecraft. Kidding. Let's see. Oh, that's a hard question. Why would I ask that question?
Yeah. Oh, because you didn't think it was going to come back to bite you in the ass. That's why.
Brent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we at least have done it per console? I mean, that would have been hard too, but
Yeah.
damn.
Let's see. My one-time game. So I I really loved Rogue Squadron.
It was a great game.
I really, really loved that.
Did you have the cheat codes to unlock the
Yes.
Millennium Falcon and the Episode 1 Naboo fighter?
Yes. Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
I love that. I love when you guys start talking about cheat codes. It's just cute.
Who remembers the Contra code?
I bet you do.
Down, left, right, BA.
Chris.
Wow. Chris
Okay.
probably wrote it.
Do you see me? I'm freaking living thunder right here. I'm glowing with blue energy. And Chris grabbed my blue energy and stuffed it in his mouth. Chewed it up.
Oh, once again, Micah's.
I love you, Chris.
On this week's episode of Micah Gets
You
His
want to know what
Thunder
pisses
Stolen.
me off?
I love how we just talk about something random. Oh, I used to play this game back then. Chris was like, oh, I worked on that game.
Yeah.
No, that I like.
All right,
That-
Larry.
it was
Stepping
kinda-
on my Contra
it
code
was
thunder
kinda
was
funny,
a little
though,
bit
bro.
crappy, but whatever.
All right, so I have to go way out of the time frame that we're talking about here because
Because.
Because
for me it's Call of Duty World War II.
Oh, yeah. I love
that
those games.
game,
Yeah.
that game, but that one in particular.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it just it was
Can I change my answer?
so
Yes.
good. It was so good, and it was out of the time frame that we're talking about because this is like late 2000s or whatever it was that it came out, and my kids got it for me as a birthday present
Yeah.
Xbox One.
because
great
I
game.
had
Or was it 360?
I was just no, it was one.
Okay,
It was one.
okay.
I was just getting back into gaming because Kristen and I were newly married. No, maybe we were still dating at this time, and I was trying to find a way to connect with the boys.
Yeah.
And gaming they were both big into gaming.
Yeah.
And so I started playing some games with them. They were big Assassin's Creed fans.
Oh, yeah. My kids were
too.
too.
And and so I really got into it. I had fun playing with them. We would, often just team up and do whatever. And then so for my birthday one year, they got me Call of Duty, and the only reason they got me that game was because they knew I was a veteran. And I was like, I wasn't actually in World War II, but thank
But
you.
thank you.
I know Mike is shocked. You were totally in World War II. You're old enough to have been in
I
World
actually
War II.
wasn't going to say that, but
Larry's actually 95.
Yes,
actually,
actually.
You know what? Thinking about it now, too, I also really loved Half-Life.
Half-Life was wonderful.
I never
was a
played
great
that.
game.
That was a first-person shooter on PC.
Okay.
Well, but
And-
there was problem solving and a little bit of adventure.
Totally.
Yeah, it was really good. It was fun. And the graphics weren't stellar because it was...
Yeah, but they didn't suck either.
Yeah.
Because Half-Life, I believe, came after the original Unreal and Quake. So, I mean, there were graphic improvements.
So this may be a little off topic, but not very far off topic, because earlier in the conversation you said at that time I was into PC gaming. What took you over to PC gaming and away from console, and why did that happen? for you?
Flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility.
So explain.
Better graphics.
Better graphics?
Yeah, because
Yes.
they were better machines at the time.
Right. So when you have a console, you are restricted to one set of graphic limitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in a PC, if you go out and spend the money on the hardware to upgrade, then you can actually increase inside of the settings, the graphical settings of what you're working on, graphic and sound.
Yeah.
And so, like, you could be playing something that everybody's been playing, but you could have it at an exponential rate.
Oh, okay.
Is fantastic.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So let's kind of make a little turn here.
Make a little turn like this.
little turn.
Little turn. Okay.
Shaka bra.
Are we going to hang loose on that?
We're gonna shaka
Maybe.
bra.
Okay.
So let's discuss more why. So lately, retro gaming is like coming back. I mean, like literally, Atari's re-released their
Totally.
consoles.
Yep.
And there's RetroPie. There's what's the other one? Bacalera.
MAME?
Bataset.
Isn't that a Mediterranean
No,
dessert?
I forgot what it's called. There's a new ROM engine for Raspberry Pi. It's not new. Battlesera.
I don't know
Battlesera?
what it's called,
Yeah.
but are you talking about those little handhelds?
No. It's you actually run it on a Pi. It's like RetroPie, but support for RetroPie is kind of dropping off in this other. I think it's called Battlesera is what it's called.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, they're just emulators you can put on Pis and play all the old ROMs. and
So
stuff.
that's one of the really cool things about all the game systems that actually introduce some sort of a digital download store.
Yeah.
Because you could play all the games that you wanted, but then you could go to the Xbox store, the PlayStation store, and download classic ones. And before that, it was on a disc.
Yeah.
So a disc or a cartridge that had a collection of classic games. So they're reselling all these games on these new platforms on disc or something.
And I think it's the same reason that my kid, when she was a teenager, got into vinyl.
Yeah.
Everything old is new again,
Yeah.
right? To a new generation.
And that's still a thing, not just for kids.
Yeah, but
I have-
you have to ask the question: who's buying the?
Well, I think it's people our age, people that grew up playing the games, because you can still get original 2600s and original cartridges, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's harder to find those. Or you can buy something like the Atari Retro, the little console where they're all just built into it.
Yep.
And it started with emulators for me.
Yeah.
So MAME emulators actually gave me access to arcade games that I was so in love with on my PC.
Name a few.
Arcade games?
Yeah, the arcade games that you can now do that.
Oh my gosh! I mean, Super Dodgeball, Superman,
All the
Magic
supers.
Sword,
Super Magic Sword.
Super Magic Sword Turbo 2.
Tron,
The sword name.
Tron.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
Tron.
there were
Tron.
tons of arcade
So,
games,
I
and then
also
there was
have-
JNES, where I didn't need an NES console anymore. I had every single NES game that I ever loved and never played, all on one emulator.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I've got one of the Super NES, the re-releases too, where it's all just one box.
But that's the thing that you can buy. But when we were PC gamers, we had the ability to go get emulators, programs
I know,
that ran
but,
ROMs.
So I was playing it the other day because it's got like Donkey Kong Country on it, which is one of the weirdest games ever released. But it's got
Wait, hang on. I'm gonna need you to back up. Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah.
Was he in a cowboy hat?
No, he was actually in the jungle.
Yes, he was.
He was wearing boots. No,
He had a lasso.
You
and a
sold me for
six-shooter.
about 2 seconds there.
but what was funny is I noticed that, especially Donkey Kong Country, the graphics, because now I'm playing it like on like an LCD, 4K TV and stuff, right? The graphics are amazingly horrible, right? Like so much so, my son was over the other day and he saw me playing it and he goes, "Man, that's bad." He goes, "You need to get one of those there's like a little box you can plug in that actually like downgrades the graphics to make it look like it would look on a CRT screen, so it actually looked better." I was like, "That's fun. That's crazy ironic to me." Now,
It is, because you're literally asking your smart TV to dumb it down.
right.
so that you can actually enjoy stuff like this with the shitty graphics. There is this new phenomenon that's happened online, and I'm sure it has something to do with Raspberry Pi. I don't really care. I don't need the specifics. But
I don't like
they're
Raspberry
all
Pi.
over the place, and you'll find them, and they are typically labeled. It's a little handheld console that's much like a Game Boy, maybe a little bit larger. That's like R45. I picked up one called the R60S. It's got 30,000 games on it. It's
That's insane.
It's on a console. It's on a handheld console that big, and it has everything.
It's like an iPod for games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got every game from every system from the beginning. I'm sorry, I take that back. Let's say from NES all the way to PS1.
Yeah.
30,000 games.
That's so
I
crazy.
mean, you can have that and never get to all the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
what the cool thing is all the ones that you used to play, but then they're all the Japanese ones that we never had access to, that we heard about
Yeah.
and wanted to play.
Or the
but never-
original versions of
the,
games.
the,
that
boot,
released
the
over here.
bootleg
Yes.
imports.
Yeah. Like the original versions, because like you were talking about earlier, like the original Japanese ones, they were way bloodier, way more gory, more graphic. Do what?
The Famicom.
Famicom? Yeah.
Yeah, Famicom's one of the ones on there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's crazy to me. But anyway, so we're talking about why we think retro games are, kind of coming back. And I believe it's strictly the nostalgia.
Yeah, we can't let go of the past.
Yeah. Well, also, but it kind of takes
Or
you back
I
to,
can't.
it takes you back. So, as you,
It's true.
I've got a problem with forgiveness.
I don't know about that.
But
That was a good one, buddy.
but
You almost got me.
But,
you.
It's kind of like it takes you back. There's a sense of nostalgia. It takes you back to
Absolutely.
a simpler time when you were a kid, and you might have had some problems, but you don't have your adult problems.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have and your responsibilities and all that kind of stuff. It kind of takes you back to a simpler time. But also, I think it's expanding so much that even new games being made today, especially like for apps for like phones and stuff, everyone's using 8-bit, 16-bit graphics.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's kind of like a resurgence of that coming back, which I think is extremely cool. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and just to piggyback on what you said, I do think there is an element of, I want to expose my kids to the things that brought me joy when I was their age.
And that's what I did with emulators first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bought USB controllers that look exactly like NES, PlayStation, Super Nintendo. They perfectly, you just plug them into the computer and then they play them off the emulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I agree. You know, it all comes back around.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We've seen the resurgence of shoulder pads. We've seen the resurgence of parachute pants.
You guys know what an absolute nut I am about Captain America.
You could have just stopped at absolute nut I am.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
yeah, but yes, Captain America.
There's an arcade game called Captain America and the Avengers.
Was that
It's-
Capcom?
No, maybe.
Who made the game?
I don't know actually.
Okay.
But what I do know is that it was an arcade game, only on the stand-up console.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, stand-up cabinet.
Yeah.
And it was. I actually sat and played it from beginning to end, reliving everything that I loved about it. It was a side scroller.
Yeah.
The X-Men game's on there. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is on there.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Oh, I love that game.
Turtles.
I used to play it in the arcade all the time.
With the arcade on and it had the four. It had the 4 joysticks on
Yeah.
there, so you could play as each individual character.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, and the arcade one-ups, I think they've released that. They have a version of that because I think I know they have the Marvel one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And so if you're ever interested, I mean, it's on Amazon. Just there's all these R45s out there. The key word here is R60S. They've made improvements on it. It is so nostalgic. I mean, the only thing
Which
that
is
kinda
not actually a word.
Yeah, the only thing that really sucks is the N64 games. You can play them, but then they start to glitch a little bit. So, I mean, there's PlayStation 1 games that are fun too, but it's not the same. But all the nostalgic stuff before that, like Genesis and Super NES, NES, arcade, all that stuff.
Interesting.
At the risk of causing a riot, because I know how passionate you guys are about gaming consoles, the one that never came up was the Wii.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's what I thought.
But it's not classic.
Yeah,
it's not really classic.
That's what
yeah.
I
Well,
thought.
I
But
mean-
you jumped ahead and talked about PS1, PS2.
You know what?
So
Nintendo-
it was out there.
Well,
It
but the
existed,
Wii,
right?
but the Wii came out like in late 2000s, right?
Yes, and
Did it?
so,
Okay.
I stopped around 2001-ish.
in
Okay,
between
yeah,
the
all right.
Cube, it came out in between the Cube and the Switch. So,
All right.
So NES had a little downfall on that. I mean, Wii was fine, but it actually targeted a market that wanted to be more active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, because
and
again,
big-
my daughter loved that stuff, like
Yeah.
Wii bowling and tennis,
Totally.
and all that.
Yeah.
And it was a thing I could do with her when she was little.
and big fat gamers didn't want to be a part of that. It's true.
Mom, bring me a pizza.
That's why.
I don't want to get up, Mom.
Don't
Bring me a
touch
pizza.
my special shock, Mom.
But that's when the Xbox 360 introduced the Kinect, and then it got rid of the controller completely,
Yeah.
and you use your hands and you interact
That's right.
completely.
That's right.
That was
You,
so
you
much
know what I
fun.
did? Because we had that.
Was that when the dancing games became real popular?
Totally.
Yeah.
You know what I did with the Kinect? I
Burned it? Took it outside?
I
Threw it
disconnected
away?
it, and I wrote some stuff on the Arduino for it
I believe you.
to control stuff.
I
like you
absolutely
could use
believe
hand
you.
movements to control, or like remote control cars.
I read about this,
Yeah.
and I actually didn't think that I'd ever get a chance to meet somebody like you, but
Yeah.
you did it.
That's right.
I love this.
I did it.
You took it apart to see
All right,
how it
well,
works.
let's talk about
You repurposed
yeah.
it to do really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the cool things about some of the games, like Super Mario Brothers. Like our producer Chris was kind enough to send us all some trivia stuff.
Yeah.
So Super Mario Brothers, the game was almost a shooter. It was actually a side-scrolling shooter. when
No
it started.
kidding.
Yeah,
What?
And Mario had like a beam gun that he was shooting enemies with, and
A
then
bean gun.
And then they decided they want to go for jumping
That's
mechanics
racist.
instead. A beam gun. How's
But you
that
know
racist?
what? Let's just give him a flower that sets him on fire.
right.
I mean, it's more like gonorrhea, but
So this is what I love. Oh my gosh.
That was great.
Oh.
I'm gonna clink a glass to that one. That was so good. It's almost like gonorrhea. He's not wrong. Oh, there it went.
It was it's snort worthy.
I'm not supposed to laugh at my own jokes.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to the joke part of the show yet.
Actually, I think it's like I
Actually.
feel like I have to tell the audience this. My mission in life is to make Larry laugh because he's funnier than damn near anybody I know. So anytime you actually cackle, I feel a validation.
Well, first of all, if you bring up bodily functions or venereal diseases, I'm probably going to laugh every time. Every time.
It's like
It's like my
can't have an
kryptonite.
episode now without some type of bodily function. So the other,
Hold on.
Yeah. The other cool thing is, see, I'm trying to continue the conversation over here.
Hey, good for you, buddy.
Sorry, bro.
Trying to
Go.
bring this back onto the rails
Yeah,
slightly.
Get it.
Let's get one wheel back on the rail. Please.
Okay, go ahead, Brent. Bring
sorry,
the
Brent.
room down, but go
Sorry,
ahead.
Brent.
Yeah. So one of the cool things. So what I love about all those old games are the technical aspects of them, right? Like the amount of memory they had to work with, right? And that's why the games are the way they are, because it was due to limitations of the resources.
So
on the
what you're
machine.
saying is that you could. Well, I mean, probably normal consumers wouldn't be able to tell this, but you could probably tell how creative a designer or a team of designers was based on the limitations they had to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That actually is kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, because Chris and I are used to that being developers. I mean, I've been writing code since '82, I think, or whatever, when I got my first PC. And we had you had limited resources, limited memory, what you could do. So you had to get very creative with what you had. So basically, you ended up reusing a lot of stuff, right? Which is what happened on Super Mario. So like every cloud, every tree, everything, it's all the exact same sprite, just being reused. And actually, Luigi is just Mario, just palette swapped. That's all it is. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had to wear a hat. They put a hat on him because they didn't have the resources to animate the hair as he walked. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
And it's iconic.
That's really smart.
Because the hats are iconic.
Absolutely. I mean, scroll through your feed at Halloween. Every other person's dressed like one of the Mario brothers
Right.
with the hat. Yeah.
So I
rest
actually
my
did
case.
this. I went out and bought a pair. I wanted to do a more realistic Luigi because I can't pull off Mario with my height. So
Fair.
I went Luigi, and green's my favorite color. So I bought suspenders. I found a long sleeve green shirt. I found this beautiful green Luigi hat. Still have it all. So awesome.
You
Happy day.
Dress up as Luigi on special nights like your anniversary, or what's the deal
when
there?
she requests.
Yeah, I get it. I would totally do that.
Moving on.
What's your Mario fantasy? Put it in the comments, please.
Oh my gosh.
I want your Mario Luigi fanfic. Get it?
I feel like we've come to the point where I'm on the wrong show again.
I don't know. We have new nurses.
We do indeed.
Okay.
What else? What else?
Oh my
you got
gosh,
there,
Brent,
Brett,
you're
on
so
your phone?
wholesome.
Not wholesome. We just got a lot to get through. There's too much to get through. Forget it.
Sorry, bro. We've picked a topic that I am like giddy. There's no excited.
Well, I mean,
I'm
we
just
could
like,
literally talk for days and days about this
Oh,
stuff.
totally.
There's so much. I mean, we're going to miss so much stuff. And if anybody comments, it's going to be like, you didn't talk about this. Yeah, probably.
Totally.
You know?
Well, but we actually encourage that
Yeah.
on
Yes.
this show.
Yeah.
We would love for you to be a part of this conversation.
Yeah.
So if there's a game we left out, or a memory, or whatever it is, we want to hear from you. So all you have to do is go out to nerdherfers.com. You can communicate with us there, or you can drop a comment on our YouTube channel. I was getting there.
Sorry.
Thanks, buddy. Hashtag control freak. Anyway, we would love for you to be a part of this conversation. And now I'm going to throw it back to Brent. Yeah, here we go.
It's time.
All right. This is the segment of the show that we call, as you already know, the greatest joke in the world. This is the segment of the show where we tell each other dad jokes and try to get to crack each other up. And the consequence is if you laugh, if you snort, if you fart, whatever it is,
Make any kind of noise. Yeah.
any kind of noise at the joke, you have to take a shot of Rocktown. Now, if you've not seen our episode where we covered Rocktown whiskey, highly recommend that you go. It was one of our best shows.
Blue Milk.
It was the Blue Milk episode. Yeah. We were supposed to be talking about Star Wars. That became the star of the show for all the wrong reasons. So we are going to tell each other jokes. We're going to do 3 rounds of dad jokes. and we're going to see how this goes. Now, keep in mind, we've been drinking a little bit, but we are also highly competitive nerds. So we're just going to see how this goes, and we're going to start with Micah.
Okay. All right. So, here we go. You know,
He started laughing. He didn't even started talking yet.
okay, do a shot.
I haven't said anything.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Here
we go.
All right, guys. You know, most people think that T-Rexes can't clap their hands because they've got little arms, but it's really because they're dead.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Brent, what do you got?
Well, I had a joke about paper, but I realized it's terrible.
All right. I like the cleverness of that, but I'm not going to laugh.
It was clever. It was clever.
Wow.
Over the weekend, I put a high voltage fence around my entire property. My neighbor's dead against it.
I refuse.
This is why I think we probably shouldn't do this segment anymore.
No.
No?
This is containment.
Yeah.
It's containment. All right. Nobody go. Round 2.
Okay.
Micah.
All right. I think my wife is putting glue on my firearms. She denies it, but I'm sticking to my guns. I'm starting to wonder if we're just determined not to drink the Rocktown.
Yeah.
Maybe our punishment shouldn't be so horrible. Be more willing to laugh.
So should we get some
Oh, wait. Does that mean all three of us?
get some Fireball next time? I don't know. Yeah. What do you got, buddy?
Well, I have a pen that can write underwater. I mean, it can write other words too.
That was good.
I almost got Larry. He
You
barely held
almost
on.
got him.
He-
That was good.
I had to think about dead kittens so fast. That's the only way. Just little kittens lying on the road dead. I have an inferiority complex, but it's not a very good one.
Ha.
I don't know if I...
You don't get it?
I'm going to take a shot because I laughed.
You didn't laugh.
That was a pity laugh, but
I'll take it.
I'll do it. Let's do it.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Micah, I might need you to... Did you weld it? No.
What's the fun in that?
Open it.
All right.
My arthritic hands.
Let
cannot
me
do
use
that.
my teeth.
Yeah. That's not even a good sound.
It's not.
Boom.
It's
like you were smacking
It's the
on an old minivan in a junkyard.
a tin cup with a big cork lid.
All right.
Oh, that's hefty.
Pity laugh. All right.
Not a pity pour, though.
No. I'm a generous man with somebody else's shitty whiskey. Nicely done. All right, round 3.
All right,
Micah,
that's
what do
me.
you got?
Okay. I got to tell you guys, boarding school really taught me how to get on an airplane.
Okay.
God, these are dumb.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
I know.
That is the whole point.
Well, I found out the other day you don't actually need a parachute to go skydiving. I mean, if you want to do it twice, you do.
Shit! I laughed at him. It still counts.
Okay, Brent, that was awesome.
That was a good one.
Yeah, hit
Here
that.
you go. Yeah, here we go.
Hit that schnikey.
If you want to do it twice, you do. That was good.
Do you have to fill it to the rim?
It's a shot.
You know, the worst thing about that is
No. Stop talking.
Oh.
Bah.
the worst thing about that is after you've done the shot, you have like this mildewy aftertaste in your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
It's like if you licked a bathtub from the 1970s. It
hasn't been clean since the 1970s.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. The way that we keep ripping on Rocktown, does anybody feel remotely bad if we have a representative from Rocktown that listens to the show?
Not
No, not at all. Not even close.
Hopefully they take it as
You know what? It's your
constructive-
fault.
Yeah.
Hopefully they take it as constructive
Yeah.
criticism.
Are we,
For 7 episodes straight.
I got one left.
Was that 3?
Yeah, I did
yeah.
3. You did yours. Now it's him.
It's mine,
Oh.
and it's not a very good joke. But did you know that if you sneeze and fart at the same time, your body takes a screenshot? He was close. He was close.
Oh,
all right.
Fudge a muffin. I don't
You don't get it?
like. I mean, is there a screen in front of them so that when you?
No. Like on your phone, you have to squeeze 2 buttons at once to do a screenshot. Volume and power.
And he doesn't even have an iPhone, and he knows this.
Oh my gosh, that sucked. Okay. Sorry.
Get your bleep ready. Okay. Okay.
I love you, Larry.
Oh.
That's all for this week's episode of
The greatest joke in the world.
All right. The good news is we all took a shot of Rocktown.
Wait, did Chris laugh at all? Because I brought him a shot glass.
Oh, I wasn't watching.
No,
Yeah,
Chris,
look at
he
his
was
face.
bound and determined.
You
not
know
to
what?
laugh.
Maybe we should just go ahead and pour him one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Donahoe,
That's happening.
do the honors. Micah is pouring the shot of shitty whiskey.
Join us.
He is handing it to our producer, Chris Hockenberry, who is off camera.
Gooba gabba,
He is-
gooba gabba.
He is silently praying. He is silently praying to Aztec gods he does not believe in. And here we go, all the way down.
Yes.
He is withholding his gag reflex and no vomit.
I
Okay,
can't.
well done.
I can't
You
tell
did
if I'm adjusting to the Rocktown or not.
I think it happens really fast.
That's sad, actually.
I think it happens really fast.
That's all scary. I'm going to say we're not quite to the final third.
I'm getting close.
Oh,
But
I
But I'm
am.
going to say it's still. Oh yeah, oh my gosh. Look at that. Well,
I'm nubbing it.
Micah, why don't you tell us about the final third of the cigar?
It's very hot. No. Hold on.
Whoa, spicy.
Hold on.
Everything burns.
I'm sorry. Back to our gonorrhea conversation. Okay, hold on. I can do this. Hold on, I can do this.
All right.
Wait.
Power. Okay, here we go.
Got it. All right. Sorry.
I just thought you were gonna go gonorrhea.
Okay, final third.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
I feel like I'm running a daycare right now.
Join us, would you?
Yeah, Mom.
I need a nap. I'm way too tired. I'm cranky.
Okay.
This is
Anyway.
absolutely delicious. I mean, I'm actually going with like the nuttiness, maybe even some hints of maple.
Oh, it's getting sweet to you at the end.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is, and obviously warm and it's hot. No,
I'm not final third yet, but I'm moving past the cedar into like a buttery, something buttery,
So is that like a
I'd agree
mouthfeel
with
for
that.
you, or is that a taste?
like a taste.
yeah,
Okay.
I'd agree
All
with
right.
that.
Yeah.
But there is something like moderately sweet happening for me.
So my question, since I brought the cigar, is: would you smoke this again?
Oh yeah.
oh, 1,000%.
Okay, outstanding.
Matter of fact, I really want to go grab a cup of coffee right now.
Oh yeah,
Try this with this coffee.
yeah. This is really nice.
You know
I
what?
mean,
Go
it's
ahead.
not the potency of like a dark cigar or a way too light cigar. It's so pleasant, and it maintains its flavor through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot of ground.
I think
here
we have,
tonight, guys.
We could go like for so long on this.
we
but
totally could.
We gotta stop.
We've had a lovely time talking about retro gaming this
Totally.
evening. Thank you so much to our producer, Chris Hockenberry, for giving us a shit ton of stuff to talk about. Also to my researcher, Brent Williams, who never not brings all of the information that you ever wanted or even didn't want to know about any subject under the sun. Thank you to Micah for bringing all the passion about gaming. So much fun. I learned a lot tonight, kids. As Stan used to say on South Park, I learned something today. I hope you did too. Hey, please join us at nerdherfers.com. Subscribe to find out when we've got new episodes dropping. Go out to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@nerdherfers, and subscribe today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will talk to you next time. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. I can only tell you it's going to be nerdy, and we're probably going to laugh and drink and smoke.
Oh, I know what it is.
Well, do you want to tease it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's coming out Tuesday.
It's coming out Tuesday, everybody.
Oh my God, he's right. Okay,
I'm so excited.
I'm just going to tell you right now what the next episode is going to be about. So, you probably don't know this, but we like Marvel
A lot.
and superheroes.
A lot.
And one of our favorite characters has a brand new season finally dropping on Disney Plus this week.
Brought to you with a brand new hoodie.
Yes, and it's called Daredevil Born Again. And because we cannot wait to talk about this in a week or 2 weeks, we're going to talk about it next week.
Yes!
We are going to be there for you guys. So, Daredevil Born Again. In the meantime, get on your old consoles right now. Start gaming. Start telling us what you're playing. We want to be a part of that. Thank you guys so much for being Nerd Herfers. I'm Larry Brantley. That's Micah Donahoe.
Live long and
And
prosper.
that is Brent Williams.
Keep your shirt on.
Thanks to our producer, Chris Hockenberry. And until next time, just keep gaming. Bye-bye, everybody.
This has been a production of Nerd Herfers. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved. No portion of this broadcast may be used without permission. Please visit nerdherfers.com for more information and full legal disclaimer.